This is the one with a baked potato planet,
Sneaky Latin,
Dr. Diplomacy,
and Greyhound 40.
His name was Ross!
It's called The Poison Sky. Here we go.
We're still on our endless voyage, all through time and all through space.
With Levine and angels now, Daleks, Cybers, and dude, wow!
Tennant, Smith, and Eccleston, Gallifrey, where it all began.
Doctor Who is cool again, that was Russell's master plan.
Who back when? Reviewing all new Who there is. Who back when?
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, please.
Rose and Donna, Amy Pond, Rory, Martha, and beyond. Join us on this odyssey. What other choice could there be than Who back when? Who back when?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Podcast Land, and welcome to episode N047 of Who Back When, a Doctor Who podcast, or Docpast.
Oh.
I am Ponkin, yes I am, and with me in the Ponkin Enterprises studio tonight is Drew. Hello, Drew.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. A little spacey.
Little spacey.
Yeah, I'm essentially managing expectations for this episode. I'm a bit wibbly-wobbly, so let's see how it goes.
Well, spacey and wibbly-wobbly sound ideal for a Doctor Who podcast. Today we are having a look at The Poison Sky, and we were just saying, right before pressing record, it's been pretty much a month since we sat down in this very same room to record our review of the Sontaran Experiment?
The Sontaran Stratagem.
Stratagem!
Or
That's
Stratagem, if you're Nick.
That's right. See, that's how long it's been. I'd already forgotten the title. But this is now part 2 of a two-parter, so finally, as opposed to the last time, we get some closure.
Yeah, I can shift back in my seat from that uncomfortable edge, and I can stop hanging from the cliff and finally pull myself up.
Well done. Good for you. Shall we jump into a bite-sized chunk of Who?
Well, let's, otherwise no one will know what's going on.
Time for us to synopsize,
Clarify and summarize,
so take a view
and grab a brew,
and listen to this overview, this free-for-all.
we like to call a bite-sized chunk of Who.
Bite-sized chunk of Who.
Martha's back again. Again! And now there are two of her, as the weird Bartine clone is keeping a side-eye on the Doctor, as he does his best to foil the Sontaran plan for world domination, while keeping a trigger-happy unit in check.
Donna, meanwhile, is trapped in the TARDIS, and the TARDIS is trapped aboard General Stahl's spaceship, whence Stahl, his clone buddies, and not Mark Zuckerberg, witness the potatoification of planet Earth.
And Wilf is in peril! Also the world.
Be scow over, you are welcome. Aren't you just? So, I have not a question to start us off, but...
You always start off with a question.
I know, but I have a comment regarding the question that I started part 1 with. I'm sure you remember. I started part 1 off by asking you if you had seen Moonraker, because I found not Mark Zuckerberg's plan very reminiscent of the plan of Hugo Drax in Moonraker, and in this one, maybe you found this as well, when he failed to pull a Hugo Drax, he instead pulled a Jaws from Moonraker.
Oh.
Right?
I suppose so.
Isn't that exactly what happened? He's like, oh, I'm going to be Hugo Drax. Oh, fuck, I was double-crossed. I'll be Jaws from the same movie.
Yeah, I can still pull it off one way or the other.
Exactly.
I need my Moonraker closure. Wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. It must be a source of inspiration.
Possibly.
That's
anyway,
really cool. I hadn't thought of that.
That's it. I've got nothing else.
Well, and you were entirely right about your postulation, if that's the right word, all the way through the episode about, yes, all he wants to do is move to a new planet.
Colonize it.
Yeah, call it Planet Bone Zone.
Yeah, he's bringing one lady.
Well, there are two ladies.
Two
only
ladies.
One had a speaking role.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. So, two ladies.
One was a white lady and one was a subcontinental lady. So, you know, diversity box tick. There'll be some future racism on that planet. Don't worry. We'll bring it with us.
Okay, so two ladies. And how many dudes?
Oh, a plethora. A myriad of dudes.
So how are they going to solve this? I mean, either he has some sort of technological solution for the problem of repopulation, or based on her reaction, the speaking part's reaction, he does not. And he's actually thinking, well, these 30 guys are just going to have one massive bukkake on one of these girls, and then whatever the outcome is, that's the next generation of Planet 2. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, when you said, what's his solution, the word that flashed through my mind was lube. So, you know, it's best not to think about what sick, twisted fantasy Luke Rattigan has dreamed up for Earth 2.0.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Right, so...
Where do you want to start off?
Well, in medias res, of course.
Okay, go for it.
Because Cribbins is still in that car, and at the end of last episode, you may remember, or perhaps it was you, and I'm just wishing I'd said what you said, why doesn't someone apply some blunt force trauma to this car and rescue our beloved Cribbins?
I thought it was fantastic that in the last episode, people did apply blunt force trauma, but it had no effect. People were punching, what's her face, and the doctor were punching punching the car. They were trying to break the windows and failed.
The doctor was nowhere near the car. The doctor was off posing halfway down the road, thinking, I bet I look amazing against this backdrop of smoke.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna think about using my magic stick to cause vibrations that will break the glass, by the way. I just thought of that.
Yeah. Dude, you know that the glass is Atmos double deadlocked.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Donna's mum saves the day.
Yeah, with a hatchet job.
Yeah, what a hack. Sorry.
No,
she had an axe to grind.
Very nice.
Well, I've got a question. I'm going to axe it. So, no, that was terrible. All right. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, you haven't got a question?
No,
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I've got tons of notes,
sorry,
but did you want to take that Wilf note any further?
He just goes back inside and ineffectually starts sealing up bits of the house, apart from that pesky draft under the door.
Yeah.
Which later on, he's like, I should have put a towel here, shouldn't I? As they're choking to death.
Yeah, too late now. Still he tries.
How did I miss this?
Slight zombie movie vibes as he's insulating the house.
Yeah?
I thought so, yeah. I mean, that's where my note ends. I got Night of the Living Dead vibes, as in they're in this little cottage, they're barricading themselves inside.
Yeah, they could have probably done a bit more with the claustrophobia aspect, couldn't they? But I suppose we didn't have time to dwell on it.
True.
Although we had plenty of time for two newsreaders to give identical messages.
Yeah, one of them is the US news anchor who has appeared on New Who before, on a number of occasions. She is like the, oh look, the US is also engaged in this activity representative.
Yeah.
You know?
Except we put ever such a slightly different slant on it because we're Bible-bashing nutcases. It was pretty much it. Like, there's a strong millenarian strand. Yes, we're doing everything the UK's doing, but it's because God is vengeful. More at 9. Yeah, and I think the British one was Kirsty Walk, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't recognise the British one.
So I think she's
An actual news anchor?
Newsnight.
Oh, right.
It wasn't your
Still.
George Alagaya or your Hugh Edwards, so they must all work in the same newsroom, so it's like, give me a go.
Yeah, that's true. It must be like that.
Professional rivalry.
Same network, different cities though. It is still being recorded in Cardiff, isn't it?
Well, I mean, surely they just use the newsroom.
Oh, fuck. Why did I not think of that?
We need a newsroom set. Stats! When are we going to find one at this hour?
Well, the US one is always like, it looks like the newsreader from Birdemic. I mean, it looks terrible. Why can't they do a better job of that?
Exactly, because that's not the one trotted out before the camera. Those are just props. That's just made out of sellotape and sawdust. That doesn't make sense.
As opposed to the BBC newsroom, which is made out of foie gras and
Yeah, and instead
Italian marble.
Instead of table legs, it's like Fortnum and Mason's chutney jars stacked on each other. I had a good Christmas, podcast land.
Well, I bet we just sounded terrifically English to our friends overseas. Can I ask a question?
That's why they're watching this whole thing, isn't it? This is Brand Britain.
It is.
We're essentially Brand Britain ambassadors years after the event.
I suppose so. I'm not sure if we're quite as quaint as the Doctor, but hang on, Dude Meister, I've got a question for you to take this in a different direction. We have units, once again.
Yes, the Unified International Intelligence...
Whatever, one of those two.
Yeah.
And they come with an app. Effectively, we have the nuclear arm codes, but in Tinder format, whereby you only have two options, yes or no. Swipe left for destroy the entire Earth, or possibly, destroy the alien threat, or swipe right for,
Status quo.
not really my type. That was, I think, a little bit pants.
Are you sure that wasn't just the Sontarans? I mean, I don't know where they got the hacker tech from, but just their way of tapping into a much less binary system.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so you also have an equally simplistic security barrier preventing you from accessing security systems, similar to what we saw in Aliens in London, the Raxacorico Halipatorian one.
Ah, okay.
Also double feature, whereby I think that was Torchwood, only had one single word, all lowercase, which kept people outside of all of Torchwood.
Oh, so I see.
And in this case, you have the NATO defense system,
Yes.
which has a one password access.
So Martha goes tap, 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 and it goes badass security clearance level accepted.
Exactly.
She's straight in.
I can't remember what the password was in the first one. Torchwood had something like Bulldog. Or,
Oh my
I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't Bulldog. I think I guessed that it was Bulldog incorrectly the last time as well. But yeah, it was just one word. And in this case, it was also like, oh, enter password here. Not even a username. Like, enter password, in.
Well,
Right, now I'm
sometimes you have to make a quick
control
decision.
of North Korean nuclear missiles.
If the nukes are heading in your direction, you haven't got time to fanny about with usernames
and nuclear keys
Yeah.
and launch codes.
and sending an extra message to your phone and then tapping the 6-digit code in as well to get in, because you're dead by then and the eastern seaboard is pulverized. It's washed into the sea, which is radioactive now.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is mutually assured destruction, man. You've got your side of the bargain to uphold. What are they going to think? I mean, how the Russians would look down on us if we didn't counter-strike.
Which reminds me, so Russia is on the list of countries whose nuclear weapons are controlled by the NATO defense system.
Yeah, as is North Korea,
As is North Korea, yeah, which is quite interesting. But on top of that, this has come up in, I think, a New Who review that we've done as well. In fact, it may have been the same Raxacorico yada 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 one.
You sure it wasn't Girl in the Fireplace? Nick, you're welcome.
The fact that UNIT suddenly controls everyone's nuclear arsenal. And this apparently, JD will be cringing right now because he's the one who corrected me at one point, or who told me about this at one point. I've sadly forgotten about it.
Right.
But there is a classic Who episode in which, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry podcast land if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, by the way, pop a comment on whobackwhen.com, this episode's page.
Yeah. Grant, if you're listening.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Or Facebook. So there's a classic Who serial in which UNIT either takes custody of or is given custody of everyone's nuclear arsenal as a consequence of being regarded the most respectable, dependable, etc., etc. And if I'm not mistaken, they get it from the US. Like, the US has everyone's launch code, and they just give it them, like, here's a Tinder app. And now, fuck it.
I am not looking bewildered and bemused by your description of this scenario.
Yeah.
But the scenario itself, it's a lovely thing to think that actually all our nation states are just constructs and we're all being controlled by the same single global Illuminati and there's actually nothing to worry about.
With literally a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Determining all our fates. Here's what I think is actually the case. I'm not remembering this correctly. I'm sort of ransacking my memory and trying to decipher some kind of reason therein.
JD, if you're listening.
UNIT is part of the UN. The UN has its seats in the US. That's how I think the transfer of launch codes is taken from the US to the UK.
Yes, that happens because everything in Doctor Who happens in the basement of a big building.
In London.
And so the big unit building, in the big UN building in New York, in the basement will be the nuclear codes.
That's probably exactly it.
Yeah. Story checks out.
Anyway, so that's that. All of that from a Tinder app. That was my little note. Anyway.
My note was Martha's doing naughty things with a memory stick.
Oh, yes.
Yes, well, this is how this whole thing got started. And she sent the thing upstairs to the Sontarans.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Although they don't really do anything with it.
So I have trouble fitting completely legally downloaded software onto a memory stick, let alone the entire world's military, whatever, strategies and software and everything.
Dude, but remember, this stuff was all
It's a
developed...
Sontaran USB stick.
No, this stuff was all developed in the 60s and 70s. So everything is so well programmed, it comes to like a few kilobytes max. Yeah, it used to have to fit on 5 1/4 inch floppy disks.
You're right. Yeah, no, you're completely right.
Yes, I am.
But yeah, she does get very naughty with it. So she has the USB, she gets everything on the USB, and then somehow she uploads it to the Sontarans. They now know exactly what they're up to. Is that how they know about the fact that they're going nuclear?
Oh.
Or do they have some sort of scanner?
Oh, because she's the operative, they probably can hear and see most of what she can, right? Maybe she's got her phone constantly recording.
Okay.
And so they can hear Colonel Mace going, what he goes.
This phone, the Tinder app, pisses me off. So I get that she's a spy. And what I said in the last episode, by the way, didn't track. It didn't pan out. She actually has a role. The clone has a role.
Yeah, side-eye. That's her role.
Yeah. But surely, if she can use a USB stick, a human USB stick, to steal data, so that she can use as per your theory, a Sontaran Tinder app to then transfer the data, to control the data. Why can't they just do it from upstairs, from space? Why do they need a clone who is literally in front of everyone swiping left or right? Why not have something on that USB stick, for example, that fits into the computer to hack the computer?
I can't keep up with you, man. You've outstripped me.
Why can the Sontarans not control... Why can they not swipe left or right from space? That's the basic version.
Well,
of it.
I mean, you can't leave that to the Sontarans, can you? Because they would just click yes every time. Although in that case, why is their operative clicking no? Well, I'm only saying that because they love a war.
But it seems as though they would actually be destroyed by these nuclear weapons. The Doctor, I think, is wrong.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think he's wrong, because otherwise they wouldn't care, right?
Maybe it's because, and sorry, Bughouse Land, it took us 10 minutes to remember this, don't they need to not launch the nukes for the sake of the atmosphere, which is being seeded with clone dust?
Oh, I guess that does make sense.
It'll set off that chain reaction, otherwise, and it'll all be toast.
See, I don't know if they say that in the episode. I think, if nothing else, that's a really good rewrite.
No, I think that's actually...
Really?
I think the Doctor does side mouth that out at some point, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to give that to them.
Oh, okay. I'd give it to them as well. All right. Give us a talking point, buddy.
Oh, my first note was how thrilled little Mark Zuckerberg Rattigan was that he was finally witnessing a war. Because as an American...
Oh, you're right.
Living in Britain, these have been very rare and hard to come by. And there was no way that he could have got involved in one. He's just thrilled. It's not on the news every night. I mean... Whatever, I suppose he's quite singular, that one.
Yeah, sorry, just before any member of Podcast Land who is based across the pond decides to write in to say that you're a racist or that you're, anti-American, let's just make it clear that you married an American and that you have nothing against their lovely state.
No, I'm anti, well, oh man, even if I say anti-war, people will be like, there are justified wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not picking on anyone, realpolitik is what it is, whatever. Right, so...
Go for it.
Yes, what else have we got? Oh, yes, I liked...
Oh, I can think of what...
In this episode,
yeah.
Doc and Donna...
Oh, okay.
Element of their chemistry. Several times in this episode, the Doctor does things that with another companion would make them weak at the knees and they'd squeal, whereas Donna reacts completely differently to the norm. The first one is when he gives her the key.
Yeah.
And instead of her jumping up and down and clapping her hands and feeling ever so privileged, she's just like, all right, I'll wank you off later, all right? Once we're out the smoke. And then later on...
When they're reunited, you mean? Or when she's on space and he's giving her advice and...
You've nailed them, both. Where he says, that's brilliant! And she goes, all right, it's not working on me, sunshine. And then at the very end, when you have her reaction to his surviving, compared precisely with Martha's, where she immediately grabs hold of him and she punches him first, or slaps him or something, like, you daft bastard. So, I liked all of those.
Yeah, I think I liked all of those as well. However, there are some bits in the middle in this one, unfortunately, where I was reminded of why I dislike her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's just the acting. It's just the execution of it. The character, the fact that she... And by the way, I loved the execution of that finale when they are reunited. I also quite liked it when she was following his advice and hitting the Sontaran in the back of the head with a malice and all that stuff. I quite like that. But there is a bit when she's on the phone with Wilf and she starts crying.
Right.
Where my note is, I spied this, by the way, with my little eye as you were talking about how wonderful Donna is and how she gets you really nice and hard.
And she gets Rattigan nice and hard.
Oh, yes.
You saw him devour her with his eyes.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
She walked by, wow.
But, I mean, that's because...
Cans.
Yes. I was gesticulating and you verbalized. Well done. So what I spied was my note that is, Donna acts as though for children, and annoyingly she probably got a standing ovation on set for crying.
Yeah?
I hated that scene.
Oh.
I just didn't believe it at all.
She has cried more in this series.
Than anyone!
Well, yeah, and definitely than I thought she would.
Yeah. She cries as often as Tennant clenches his teeth.
Do you know what, though? I think we can excuse
Maybe,
her,
I know lots of stuff.
because she's talking to Cribbins.
Yeah.
And he's acting his gentlemanly, avuncular heart out on the other end of the line. Those tears are probably real. They probably just edited them badly because in the script, it was like, just look quite sad. And Cribbins brought from the very depths of her being, like...
She's actually just she's just having an emotional reaction to the sheer wonderment of witnessing a man, a gentleman, being able to convey such persona and grace as Bernard Cribbins. And by the way, there are bits in this episode where Cribbins is not doing a great acting job in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah.
But he's still so incredibly charming as he does so.
Okay, where are these imperfections of Cribbins?
Oh.
We'll come back to Donna.
See, I didn't make a note of specific lines, but what does spring to mind are almost all of the bits where he defends Donna in front of, as in to her mum, where it's like, oh no, let her go. Oh, you go with the doctor. Go with the doctor.
Yeah, the wonderful doctor.
Yeah. I mean, those bits, they're sweet. Let's say that. They're sweet. But they're not... Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, his charm got him through those.
Oh,
instances.
absolutely. I hate to make this comparison, but from the trailer of the upcoming season with Capaldi, we have David Suchet.
Yes.
And Suchet is... Dave to his friends, is the Dave Meister? The Dave Meister Suchet. No, that doesn't work. David Suchet is not just an incredibly charismatic man, an incredibly intellectual man. He is also a marvelous actor. An actor par excellence. He is an actor.
He is an actor's actor.
Yes, he is. But does he have the same charm as Cribbins? I'm not sure he does. I'm looking forward to... I don't mean charm the way that he charmed an audience as Poirot, but is he as grandfatherly? I hate to say this because he probably has grandkids.
I don't know. I know what you mean, though. There's a certain wariness. David Suchet has a slightly enigmatic presence. Bernard Cribbins is completely open, and therefore he's instantly likable.
Yeah.
He's like, there is no disingenuousness.
I wonder if
too strong a word against it.
Okay, maybe that's it. And now I feel like I'm about to critique Bernard Cribbins a little bit. Not Cribbins, but his character, Wilf. Yeah. Wilf is... And obviously, as we haven't seen David Suchet on Doctor Who yet, we're basically comparing him to Poirot. Yeah. But whereas Poirot, super clever and charismatic, if you were to meet him, you'd be like, wow, we could sit here for quite some time and I would love to get to know this man. I would like to learn more about him. Yeah. Whereas Cribbins, it's like, I already know everything there is to know about this guy and I love it all.
Yeah, exactly. Poirot, David Suchet, the camera regards him with admiration.
Yeah.
And it looks up to him.
Well, that's not to say that the camera looks down on Cribbins.
No, but the camera looks exactly level with Cribbins. Cribbins stares into the camera's face and you feel like you've known him all your life.
Yeah.
Because he's every man. There's no distance or separation there. Whereas, I'm serious about this. I really think this gets to the heart of why Cribbins could be everyone's grandfather.
Join us next week on Jacking Off Bernie.
Yeah. With special guest, Bernie Sanders.
Oh my god, we could have that podcast, by the way. Different Bernie for every episode. We just give them an HJ.
Oh, man. Oh, dear. So we were going to come back to Donna.
Oh, right. Yes.
Because I could compliment your criticism of her acting with the scene where her Doctor and Martha are in the...
Oh, for a second there, you actually looked and sounded like a comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Sorry.
No, please, carry on correcting me.
I gained 20 stone. Worst comparison ever.
Sorry, carry on.
I'm complimenting you. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, okay.
So, fuck you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm fucking agreeing with you, you bastard. Dude, when they're in the teleport and the Doctor says his line, and it's like Donna forgets that her line is next, and so there's a good beat and a half before she goes, "We're not going back on that ship, are we?" And it just stopped the scene, or perhaps even the episode, dead at that point. There was some real amateur hour dramatics in this one.
Yes, I agree with you, but similarly, that scene... This is the same scene, right? Where he's about to go up to the spaceship.
No, I don't think it is, because they're
okay.
in Rattigan's company at that point.
Right.
This is when the clone has just died.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
Donna has just... No, he rescued Donna, and now they're about to rescue the TARDIS.
Right, okay. So I was going to bring up the scene where he is about to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
Wherein I felt... I mean, I was going to say she does a better acting job than he does. I'm not sure I agree with myself. I think they both do a great acting job. However, I found her character more believable in that scene than Tennant's character, than the Doctor. It's like when he goes, because I have to give them a choice. They need to be able to choose freedom and peace and everything and life.
Even though as Sontarans, they assuredly 100%
And
won't.
he knows that they won't. He's just looking for attention.
Yeah, their genetics dictate, they demand that they will blow up the Earth.
Yeah. So in that scene, I couldn't relate to him at all.
Right.
But I found her reaction very relatable and very believable, and the execution of it was very good. The acting was very good.
Yeah. So overall, mixed bag.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Fine. God damn it.
Just to finish off Donna, so
Okay.
to speak, she had a lot more traditional companion sort of activities to do in this one. She
Yeah, she
was
did.
in peril, and she had to have the Doctor order her around. You said you didn't mind her going about that, and that was all right for you.
I think she did a pretty good job of it in this one, yeah. I mean, compare this to when they were on the Ood planet, or the planet of the Ood, if you will, and she was just following him around as well, or occasionally she was trying to do her own shtick, but I mean, she was just hot on his heels, right?
Yeah.
And she was incredibly annoying throughout. She was terrible. Absolutely dreadful. And the scenes where she felt sorry for the Ood, or the scenes where she felt sorry for the Brain, they were all shit.
No,
I'm gonna say it.
no.
I did not think that she was good.
If you go back and listen to that episode,
Yeah.
I think you say that she does a good job in the cage when she actually cries.
Oh, do I say
Yeah,
that?
I think you said that.
Oh God, I hope this is another case of you being wrong about what I've said before.
Right, I'm gonna, like before, we will see this.
I've put down a marker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find this tonight.
Okay, brilliant.
Hopefully I'll just laugh. Entirely different note about that scene. You'll be pleased to hear, I thought Donna did incredibly well. I thought it was quite compelling when she got to hear the music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her reaction to it and her desire to shut it out because it was simply too much for her to bear. I thought that was very well done. But yeah, anyway, so she has done a similar thing. Forget about the cage then, regardless of what I said about the cage at the time. Consider when she's walking around in the snow with him, or, when she wolf whistles, all those bits. Compare that to her now. Maybe she's matured as a character, as a companion, or possibly, maybe the writing's just better. I mean, at some point, it wasn't her idea, probably, to act as a complete buffoon and an idiot.
Do you know the point that I have led you into making? In this one, she is much more a template companion. She's got much less sort of individuality in this episode than when they tried to... I mean, it was ham-fisted the way they made her go, oh yeah, I'm West Ham down the football, way, that's a character trait. But in this episode, there's none of that. So essentially, she's just vanilla companion, and now you're all for it.
You know what? I'm going to half agree with you, but I'm going to put a different spin on it.
Okay.
All right. This is so exciting. Counter. So I much prefer the individualists among the companions. And that's something, surely, that must be, not having seen all of Classic Who, that must be a trait more common to New Who than Classic Who. One assumes. Or I assume, anyway.
What, you mean it's more likely in classic Who that
to have the
it's just-
template companion.
It's just a woman in peril.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, companion in distress.
Slightly different clothes in this series.
Yeah.
She's from a different time.
Exactly. But I dislike the Donna character at this moment in time. At this moment in time. Who knows, maybe in a few weeks' time I'll see something else of hers and I'll go, oh my god, I've completely changed my mind. But at this point in time, I dislike the Donna character so much that, yes, you may be right. I may prefer template Donna
Oh dear.
to individualist Donna.
Lifeless, hollow Donna.
Yes.
It's your dream companion.
Yeah. Just a vehicle for the Doctor's will.
Yeah.
Just someone to express what he can't because he is, at that point in time, geographically elsewhere.
Yeah. Sucked out, subjugated Donna. Perfect. Completely submissive.
Okay, well, take Martha. Take Martha then. So most of Martha in this one is clone Martha. Not actual Martha.
Clone Martha.
Yeah. But when we had, this is who Martha is right now, in part 1 of this double feature, wasn't she just utter garbage?
You definitely took massive exception to that. How dare you have a personality?
How dare you have that personality?
Well, yes.
I have nothing against people, individual people. I just have something against lots of them.
Because you're a discerning chap and you have standards.
Okay.
Okay, we've done Donna to death.
I think we have. Can I make a comment that will lead you to your diatribe?
Certainly.
At one point in my notes, I have written, Drew gets a countdown. And then I've written, and another one.
Well, it's the same one, isn't it? From 60. And she reads it out for as long as possible. 59, 58. Guess what's next? 57. But you can't guess.
It's the same
56.
countdown?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But it goes through, and now there's probably a play on how fast different countries' broadband is. And now America's online, and now France, and then a few more seconds go by, and now Russia, and then at the very end, North Korea, and we're still going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, swipe right.
Right.
So yes, it's the same.
Oh, wait. Oh, is that what's happening? Holy shit. Oh, well, I've misremembered this in that case. I thought that the swipe right thing, or swipe left, was halting the countdown.
Yes, it did. Because if Martha had let it go to 0 and hadn't tapped no, then that was when the nukes were going.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, okay, now I see. Okay, wow.
So, yes, I don't know what it is.
What is it about you and countdowns? Not about Doctor Who and countdowns. What is it about you and countdowns?
Well, I have a mind for numbers, and so they stand out for me, and so perhaps it's just number overload.
But if they are an ever decreasing string of them.
Well, no, it's because in Doctor Who they're typically an increasing string. Like, we get countdowns from 60 in this one, there's 200 maybe last week.
Oh, you mean the actual starting point gets higher and higher?
Yeah, I think there might be 2 countdowns in... No, there wasn't another countdown last week. It must have been Ood. What my essential beef is that all countdowns are just the same device on different scales. And so there's no dramatic tension to be gleaned from having one every single week. And at the end of it, the bad thing never happens. So how can anyone be tense at this point when one begins? It just transmutes into rage. Did I diatribe enough for you?
What is your favourite countdown and what is your least favourite countdown so far?
My favourite
that we've reviewed. That we've gone through.
Oh, so not Richard Whiteley.
Wait, Richard Whiteley?
There's a show, Countdown, on Channel 4.
Oh, right. No!
The one where I figured out the conundrum, that was my favourite. And I hate the one with Jimmy Carr.
You're not alone.
My favourite... I don't think there is one. You know, it's all just been subsumed by just generalised...
What about surreptitious countdowns like the depth meter or something when they're descending to the Satan pit? Or the...
that one drove me crazy, don't you remember? Because the numbers didn't go up in a linear fashion.
Oh, yes! Oh, God!
See, numbers, they stick in my
He's turning
head.
green and tearing off his clothes, ladies and gentlemen.
Tearing off my clothes. I'm down to 5 pieces. 4! Sock goes, that's 3. Pants off, that's 2.
He's just wearing a sock.
And a hat.
All right.
Picture what you will, podcast land. So, yes, I think I'm spent on that one.
Nice one. On the topic of companions, we get a flash of Rose.
Yes, we do!
According to TARDIS Wikia, this was not planned. They had a Rose cameo in whatever it was, quite recently.
Where Donna says, I've left the
keys in a bin.
My mum.
Yeah, underneath a bag of dog turds.
To pick up her car. So.
I don't know you, but here are the keys to my mum's car.
Yeah, partners in crime.
Oh, well done. Well done. Yes, it was. According to TARDIS Wikia, that cameo was met with such laud. It was so talked about and buzzed around by the Whovian community that they decided to, in post-production, plop in a clip of Billie Piper from an entirely different recording, an entirely different episode of Doctor Who. So
Okay.
up the ante a little bit.
And it was good. It was...
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was very arresting.
It was.
It just makes you... Well, I mean, it keeps you watching till the end of the series. It just
Yeah,
reminds
you
the whole
know
thing's
that
going
something's
on.
coming up. Oh, it's going to be exciting.
I mean, I've already sort of voiced my displeasure with Clone Martha, who was the better Martha last week and this week when she was supposed to be clever. And she did sort of have more of a role, but just communicate it by looking askance or looking around or turning slowly every single time.
Yeah, and
She
then
was
at the
on
very
screen.
end when Clone Martha is about to die,
Yes.
when they really ham-fist some emotional value to her. Like, oh God, but you have your whole life, I have your memories, and yada yada. All of a sudden, this death means something, and
Yeah.
Martha has to go. No, the Centaurans just used you, and...
And it's a tragedy when anyone dies. Oh, you know my main note for that
what's that?
scene is, my heart is getting slower. There's nothing I can do, says the former doctor in Spain, now seconded as a proper doctor to units.
Oh, I forgot that she's a doctor.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it. That's how unbelievable it is.
A doctor who's been briefed on the latest clone technology and its limitations. And how she definitely can't save her just by looking at her. I mean,
wow. And theoretically, the clone should know as well. She should just be able to go, look, fetch me a defibrillator and do this and, you know,
Yes,
open
but-
my flaps.
yes, because she's got the memories. Oh my goodness. And, well, I mean, if Martha really cared, she'd hop back into the Franken device. And
She doesn't care.
No.
No.
Not at all. And Martha doesn't care. Donna doesn't care. Donna arrives at the scene, and she's like, there's two of them. And the doctor goes, long story, i.e., you don't need to worry about it. There's a dead version of Martha.
On the floor.
Yeah, right in front of you. You don't ask any supplementary questions.
No, not at all. This is just the life I've chosen for myself now. These are the kind of people I choose to surround myself with.
Yeah, I mean, in that scene, we haven't followed the episode chronologically, but the episode was really plummeting fast at this point. It was because everything that happened had to be at the service of predictable story beats. Like, you had to have the scene, as you say, the poignant, emotional death scene,
Yeah.
even though you don't give a shit about this.
No, you don't give a
clone.
shit. So why was it written in? Was it written in because the audience expects it, or because it's just such a stereotype? Was
Well,
it some sort
both.
of... Was it a replicant reference? Was it like a Blade Runner thing? Oh, the clones can't live forever. They're somehow... No.
That's really good analogy.
Because the equivalent of... In the replicants going like, I've seen the, whatever, the firestorms above whatever Centauri.
And there are firestorms in this episode, in the sky.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, I think this is a bit of a reach.
I think he's
the
right.
equivalent of that is Clone Martha going, I remember exactly everything you've ever done, and hence I know the adventures that you will go on. And adventures that are so much greater than me slumped on the floor in the basement about to die.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't an explicit parallel in the writers' minds, but you bringing up the Blade Runner example shows what could have been done, the heights that could have been
God,
reached
yes.
had
Oh,
this
absolutely.
scene actually made sense. Because the fact is that the writers must have thought we need to have this scene in it,
Yeah.
regardless of what comes before it or after it. And so that's why it doesn't work. Well, I don't think it's ever a completely individual effort.
No, there were probably redrafts and... Yeah.
So I'm not going to attribute this entirely to Helen Rayner. But
I thought she did a good job, by the way.
yeah?
Yeah. All this nonsense aside, I thought she did a good job. And maybe that's because I'm comparing it to Daleks in Manhattan.
Possibly. One positive I had halfway through this episode was, okay, I was spacey today and I didn't know half of what was going on. but they were still talking about a mystery halfway through this second episode. Like, I hadn't fully put it together that it was just going to be a massive clone planet of Sontarans.
Oh, I see that.
And maybe that was obvious, and it was quite daring of them to say, no human can figure out our secret plan. Because perhaps
Wait, does
half
that
the
actually
audience
come up?
had.
Do they actually say that? What does it matter?
Yes. Well,
what does it matter? When that came up, I just immediately thought all they need is a planet that they can gas. They're going to change the atmosphere of any body in space. Why this one? Like, why not just choose literally any other place?
Yeah.
And just terraform it? Because that's sort of what you're going to do anyway.
I don't know, maybe because humans have uniquely primitive weaponry. I don't.
Fun.
Yeah.
On that note...
This is too easy. They're running like slime bait from a spiel fox.
Yes! Oh! What?
Exactly. And then after that, a line that is simply perplexing.
Because that wasn't perplexing enough.
No, because that was just I don't know what this trope is called, but I bet you can find this in so many iterations, in so many different science fiction films. An alien race has pretty much the exact same concepts that we have, but they call them different things. So rather than just talk about a fox hunt or whatever, this is a spiel fox, and But the next line, not the next line, but a subsequent line is perplexing to me, and it is this.
This isn't war, this is sport!
But they are warriors, and they want a challenge. So is he saying this is sport because it's really easy? But in that case, it isn't sport because there's no challenge. And they are a warrior race. They are not there for sport.
Yeah.
He should be going, what the fuck? This is no fun at all because I want them to fight back.
Yes, this is as pointless as Hull v Swansea in late October. I mean, it's like... Yes, as a warrior race, they should look down on sport, and they should have no time for sport or concept of sport.
And
except
also,
in a
this is
pejorative
not what
sense.
sport is. This is, what they are doing is not cricket. They are preventing...
It's just not cricket.
It really isn't cricket. They are preventing the enemy soldiers from even being able to fire bullets. They're increasing the size of the bullet, right? Or whatever it was.
Well, I suppose then that's quite similar to a fox, then, isn't it? The fox has got no way of fighting back. It's hilariously overpowered. Maybe
I guess
they're
it is
just a bit
running-
sadistic like
It's
that.
exactly like running slime bait from a spiel fox.
Yeah, exactly. What a perfect analogy. I mean, okay, those items of shit writing aside, what I was getting to about half an hour ago was that the last two-parter, it was just so predictable from about minute one.
Yeah.
What was
Oh,
going to
absolutely.
happen. But in this one, they did keep me in suspense for much longer, and I was agreeing with you that this was a much better writing achievement.
I think so. I think that is the case. Shall we jump in with a couple more sound bites just for funsies?
Let's!
Okay, so 2440, David Tennant sneaks in a sneaky, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, I swear I'm so sorry, but you've got to try.
Does it? I didn't notice.
Yeah, 24 minutes and 40 seconds in.
Prove it to me.
Oh, Mark, I'm so sorry.
There you go, now you've heard it twice. It's those words, but it's not with the standard intonation.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Another Tennant soundbite, 2640.
What do you think, Doctor? Are you my mummy? If you could concentrate.
And this is something that came up in... Oh, what was it? Oh, yes, it was a late addition to the minis from Dr. Z in the War Games.
Okay.
The last one, the last classic that we reviewed, Troughton's final one, in which there are people wearing gas masks. And Dr. Z pointed out, hello Dr. Z, she pointed out that, there's a parallel, Are You My Mummy? In this one, I feel, and I mentioned this in that episode as well, I feel like David Tennant, or the writing for David Tennant, proves that it is now impossible to have gas masks on Doctor Who without referring to the, whatever they were called. I can't remember what they were called. Hang on, I shall consult the Vindex.
I love how you pretended not to remember just so you could plug the website. That is professionalism.
I'm gonna find it. The nano genes!
And he found it so quickly because the Vindex is so intuitively laid out.
Even though I haven't updated it in a while, I admit, but I will, I promise. Yeah, go to Who Back When for all your visual index needs. But yeah, now, in the time post-nanogenes, we cannot have gas masks without referring to them, because we even get a soundbite of Tennant who says,
Are you my mummy?
And I tell you what, without you explaining it to me, that line made zero sense. And I just had to write it off as an obvious reference. Or just completely random.
but wait, hang on. You know the reference, right?
I haven't seen any classic.
This is a New Who reference. This is the thing.
Nanogenes.
So do you remember the kids actually not just kids, but all the people who had gas masks like fused onto their crania?
Okay.
And the kid, or actually all of them kept going like, "Are you my mummy?"
Okay. How about the fog?
The fog.
Yeah, the fog. Because there's a lot of fog in this one.
Yeah.
And it goes up. I mean, there's a count up, in fact, which I hadn't put together. Oh, no, I hate the fog. Whereas, like, it's at 60%. Now it's at 66%. It was going to get to 80%. Oh, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, dear. But
I'm okay with that.
The mum, she opens the window. It's about standard level UK foggy out there. It's probably foggier than that now. And then there's another point where they're standing outside Rattigan Academy. And soundbite this, Donna says...
It's London. You can't even see it.
Is this the bit where they are probably in Hampstead Heath looking down upon London, and
Yes.
suddenly you know that Rattigan Academy from the music video from Total Eclipse of the Heart that is actually in Hampstead Heath?
Yes.
Or on Hampstead Heath?
But it's not that. It's the fact that Donna says what she says. It's London. You can't even see it. And you can see all of it. No, in that shot. You can see the gherkin. You can see all the landmarks. You can see the London Eye.
But haven't they CGI'd a bunch of... What's CGI? Haven't they just After Effected a bunch of fog over all of it?
They haven't.
They haven't?
They haven't. She says
I don't remember
London.
this.
You can't even see it. And it is there, clear as day. They forgot to order in the fog machines. Or add the CGI. It's just bizarre. It's a bizarre 5 seconds. This episode was a bit...
I'd not noticed that. That is hilarious.
They really needed to... Let's watch it now. Pause it, and I just want you to see this now.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, we're pausing this. Yes.
Okay, so screenshot of the London you can't see at all on whobackwhen.com.
There was the London Eye, there was the gherkin.
And everything in between.
Every Kodak moment of London. Just slightly covered by semi-opaque smoke, I guess.
Yeah, they'd still be flying in and out of Heathrow in those conditions.
Yeah.
Drove me mental. And it was just, this episode, it just needed to be a bit tighter. We've had some really good professional episodes this series, but this one really fell on its face.
But wasn't it so much... Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
How about the Sontarans then? How about the Sontarans?
Really like them. I mean, with some exceptions... Like the Spiel Fox bit, where I just went, I don't understand this. Yeah, I guess I feel about the Sontarans the exact same way I felt about them in part 1. They are a really good foe, and I don't know if they were as good a foe in Classic Who, but they are certainly a foe that has been New Whoified well.
Yeah.
I mean, compare them to the Macro or something.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're really good. Just as a concept, they're great. They're a warrior race, so compare them to the Ice Warriors. Aren't they so much better than Ice Warriors?
I really like Little Dave Hedgehog in this one. Sorry, Little Dave Sontaran. General Stahl.
General Stahl.
He kept growing on me.
Is that a little Sontaran joke?
No, although I did like the Doctor's own take on that. But I was beginning to think at the end of the first episode that the Sontaran range was limited, but I really enjoyed the glee. He all the way to the very end of the episode.
He even dies well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that final showdown with the Doctor, I tell you what, I said that the episode was plummeting fast, but as soon as the Doctor said, I need to go and give them a choice. I mean, I know on one level that's bullshit, but I did not see it coming. It was the first original turn in the episode for some time, and I thought, crap, there's only 5 minutes to go. What the hell happens now? He's up in space and they're about to fire on the Earth, and I couldn't see the way out. I should have been able to see the way out, because as soon as Rattigan was scorned by the Sontarans, you knew he would be their downfall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
I wasn't sure he was going to have the cojones to actually sacrifice himself. I figured maybe he's going to build an app that blows up their spaceship.
yeah.
I didn't think he was going to die.
It's funny, though. They gave the clone a really poignant departure scene.
Yeah.
But Rattigan's gone up there and sacrificed himself for the good of the world, actually.
Yeah, he saved the world.
Yes. And Neither Doctor nor Donna nor Martha make any acknowledgement at all.
Well, that's because he already doomed us. This just returns us to a status quo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, how about the Doctor's racism directed towards clones?
What?
Where when he tells Clone Martha that he could smell her, he's like, oh, quite frankly, you smell.
Frank, you smell.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense because she's only just got out of the bath.
I thought that was really weird. I got Nula vibes from that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. People outside of this room won't necessarily know what that means, but yeah, we once met a racist.
Yes, also, they really signposted things with just enormous waving flares and semaphore. Like, almost the second the Doctor and Clone Martha first interacted in this episode when something went wrong, he made an instant Sherlockian deduction.
It was so clear that he knew from the get-go who she was.
Yeah.
Or rather, who she wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do a very good job of that. But that's fine. I didn't really mind. Okay, I only have, I think 3 more things, maybe 4 more things in my notes.
Okay, give me one.
We very recently talked about the smoke that engulfs the Earth.
Okay.
Alright, so here's my very last note of the episode, as in the last note that I took down. Unfathomable wave of fire engulfs all of Earth, leaving air, planes, birds, and all intact.
Right. Well, okay.
So we can still breathe.
Yeah, I think...
Birds are heard chirping immediately thereafter.
Aeroplanes, you can understand, because they would have all landed when it started to get foggy.
That's true.
And, of course, they have internally sealed off air systems, so the pilot and the passengers aren't going to feel any ill effects.
Oh, they probably would, because air pressures are going to change quite dramatically when fire suddenly engulfs all of
No,
the...
they've all landed. They've all
thrice.
landed by then.
Okay, fine. But birds...
Safely landed.
And the rest of us...
Yeah, also, the Doctor goes to the trouble of putting together Rattigan's atmospheric converter technology.
Yeah.
Which he sort of attributes to Rattigan, but then entirely assembles himself from just bits and bobs lying around, it seems. And then...
Well, yeah, he takes a machine that was probably meant to create a breathable atmosphere on a different planet.
Right, okay.
And turns it into a machine that burns up the atmosphere and somehow replaces it.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Because it just kicks off a fireball.
Yeah. I'm surprised that he didn't just point his sonic at the smoke for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, what do they expect us to sort of... They expect any viewer who thinks about this for 2 seconds to have to apologise for them not thinking it through, that we have to construct how this works.
Yeah.
Because if someone had set off some fireworks, then they would have started the reaction.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Or if a ship lost at sea in the fog sent up a flare.
Maybe that is it. Maybe literally anyone would have done this. Anyone with a match could have solved this.
Also, you said about planes surviving.
Yeah.
The Valiant.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was going to bring this up by bringing up something you said in the first part.
Please do, I love that.
So in part 1 of this double feature, or in our first review, you mentioned the unit engagement was so much more down to earth, pun intended, so much more realistic and sort of achievable by the United Kingdom. They didn't have a giant flying aircraft carrier. They had trucks. Right?
Yeah.
But no, all of a sudden, the flying aircraft carrier turns up.
And not only that, but it's flame-proof.
It's flame-proof. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's still flying around. Except there's no oxygen left to keep it afloat or to run through its engines.
I mean, that was an awful moment when the fire sort of swept across the sky. It looked like it was 2 feet above the top of the Valiant. Like, phew, that was a near miss. Except it goes through the top of the Chrysler building as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, nobody... that had no effect. I mean... No, it was terrible. I mean, I thought the fire in certain shots was beautiful.
I agree.
Like the visual.
It was like an Aurora Borealis type deal, but in flames.
Yes, that was
beautiful.
Really and because that could look so shit, and I've seen that look shit in so many.
In most things.
Yeah, when it's used as a special effect.
Sylvester Stallone's Daylight springs to mind.
All sorts of films get it wrong, and it's bad in animation. It's bad across the board, but here... looked really nice. It's just the science was appalling.
Yeah, agreed.
Or non-existent, in fact.
Okay, I've got... I think I only have one that's really worth mentioning.
Okay.
You and I occasionally bring up Latin.
Yes.
And Latin references. It took me a long time to figure out what this meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Donna nobis pacem, or pacem, as he says.
I mean, I don't hear that in church. That is from Monty Python. Smack!
I used to have that as a screensaver. Yeah, it's Donna with one N as opposed to Donna with two N's, isn't it? It's
yes.
Give us peace. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Donna otherwise, unsurprisingly, means lady or mistress.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was like,
Do you know what?
Wait, what's lady of the peace of us? What does this mean?
Well, that was going to be my note as well.
Oh, really?
Because
I thought it was quite clever.
Well, I thought it was clever, but Donna doesn't react. She doesn't immediately put the things together, does
think
she?
She knows Latin?
Well, no.
She wolf whistles.
No.
And goes to fucking ice planets and cries poorly. I thought Donna did incredibly well.
Oh, so she doesn't even know he's speaking Latin. She's that stupid. It's like Donna and some gibberish.
Yeah, she just hears him say Donna and look in no way discreetly at the camera. And she goes, he knows that I'm watching. Which, by the way, how does he know that she's watching?
Well, I mean...
Does the TARDIS just automatically tune in to the nearest TV channel?
Yeah, and presumably keep her on the bridge, because she could be wandering...
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Like, space.
She could spend her entire life aboard that TARDIS and probably never get bored. Like, by herself. Because, by the way, she's probably not by herself. There are lots of people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He nearly had the Master in there.
Yeah, there are certainly nemeses in there.
Yeah. See, I thought I was doing Donna a disservice by saying she wouldn't have been able to understand the Latin, so she would have said, "What the bloody hell are you using Latin for? Come up and save me, you great pillock!" But actually, I was giving her too much credit. She didn't even know it was Latin.
Well, I'm not trying to be a pretentious git. I'm just saying, like, I think it was really clever, both from the point of view of the Latin he uses, and from the point of view of, oh, wait, hang on. She just needs to hear her name in order to know, all right, don't worry, he has a plan. Like, he is aware of her. And that's all. It calms her down, because otherwise she's just going to panic and go, I don't know what to do. Oh, I can't do the voice at all.
You're closer than you think. Have confidence, man.
I'm going to practice. Anyway, I think that's the last more or less interesting thing that I've got. Oh, Sontaran and Sontaron.
Yes. Ooh, trivia. I'm going to read this straight off TARDIS Wikia, or possibly IMDb, cannot remember. Donna Noble's initial pronunciation of the name Sontaran is an in-joke referring to a disagreement in the original production of classic series Doctor Who, The Time Warrior, Part 1, where director Alan Bromley suggested the Saunteron pronunciation and was overruled by Kevin Lindsay, whoever that is, who used his position as portrayer of the Sontaran links, oh, that's who it is, as authority of knowing how to pronounce the name of his species. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of, yeah. That's it. Yeah. I'm done.
Okay, I haven't got many more notes.
iPhone drop.
Did the Doctor need to yell at Colonel Mace for using a military code word in its proper context?
Yes, that is so hilarious.
He wasn't Greyhound 40, his name was Ross. Now listen to me. And get them out of there!
I mean, I guess Tennant he probably went up to RTD and said, I haven't shouted for a while. Is there any way we could...
It's been a whole day.
Yeah. I'm not shouting!
Ross, I'm getting the jitters.
Yeah, so there was that, and there was a mention of the Brigadier.
Yes, there was. Yes, you're right. Where is he?
He's in Peru. Hunting Paddington. And his kind. Or something.
Wait, what?
Paddington's extended family are all drug runners. Oh, I liked Back of the Neck.
Oh, yes.
I did like that.
That was pretty nice. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good Donna moment.
One of my notes is Commander Score is basically talking himself hard as he shoots his way through the opposing army. But then he dies just very matter-of-factly. But I suppose that is how Sontarans die, isn't it? That's what they're created for in a way. So it sort of makes sense.
Dying in an epic explosion is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly badass.
Though that isn't what happens. It's Colonel Mace creeps up behind it.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, I remember this now. Oh, that is I thought that was a really good scene. He has that smile and he goes, magnificent, or sexy, or whatever he says.
Yeah, so, this will get me a recurring role.
I guess you can't splooge in this uniform.
Why do you think they brought him back as Strax? Was it because of the way he died, or because they made him say the most ridiculous line and that was like hazing him as an introduction to the cast?
It's because they couldn't get little Dave Hedgehog? No, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think... I mean, he does a really good job, and he probably really wanted to. I mean, they already know that it works. Like, he doesn't have to audition for it in any way. He's available. He's thus inclined. Yeah, why not? Bring him on board.
I mean, we don't...
The fuck do you have against him, man?
I don't have anything against him. We don't actually know that isn't what he looks like.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, maybe he is a potato. So, like, well, who else are we going to cast? It'd be pretty insulting, wouldn't it, if you were a potato and you couldn't even get a role as a Sontaran on Doctor Who?
That would be pretty terrible.
But it'd have to be
But we have seen him.
Bad
We have
actor.
seen him on the show, as we discussed in the last one. He was one of the elves.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. That was 8 hours in makeup. Yeah. To look like that elf.
To de-potatify him.
Yeah.
To peel him.
Oh, goodness. Oh, man.
Okay,
I did think that we talked about the clone scene already, but I thought Freema Eggman did an okay job of acting to thin air, because even though it was hackneyed and boring, she did an all right job.
I think so too.
Yeah.
She was more interesting in this part than in part 1.
Although, I wonder what she's going to be like in part 3, because that was another thing about the end of the episode, the uptick, like the twist, where suddenly the TARDIS takes off and she hasn't had time to leave, and now she's in the next adventure as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, I see. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we should talk about it now or if we should save it for the next one, but, I mean, we do get a glimpse of the next episode, The Doctor's Daughter.
Yes, one of those revealing previews.
Yeah. I don't remember it at all. However, watching the preview, I just went, oh.
Oh, the endless flipping.
Yes, exactly. It just looked like even lower budget Resident Evil.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Maybe you should save that observation for next week.
Yeah, I might repeat myself.
Maybe we'll...
Yeah, shall we jump into ratings?
Yes.
And now it is time to rate this.
Did we love or hate this?
Bing bong, hey, la 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 la.
Ratings.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. It's a micro. It's not quite a rating.
Wonderful.
This episode, very up and down. I hated some of the scenes. Typically, they involved Rattigan or Unit. The hackney definitely outweighed the original there. But the last 7 minutes actually were belting, and I was sucker punched again and again once the sky had finished retconning itself. Donna didn't have much to do in this episode. Tennant did okay. Martha's the clone, meh. A lot of going through the motions. Cribbins, fabulous as always, 2.7.
2.7?
Yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Did you expect higher or lower?
I did expect higher.
Oh, okay.
You gave part 1. Do you remember what you gave part 1?
3.2.
Yeah, so you think this is not as good as?
Yes, there were just long stretches where I thought this episode should be much better, and I increasingly dislike Colonel Mace, which I said last week. I'm suspending judgment on Colonel Mace.
Yeah.
He didn't win me over.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about him. I'll weave this into my micro. I agree with you. I hadn't even really considered it until now. But yes, I absolutely agree with you. He has very little in the way of persona. I can't remember if he becomes a recurring character. If he does, I certainly hope that they flesh him out a little bit, because I wasn't that taken.
Yeah, I mean, he had the potential to become... Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all?
No.
Oh, bugger. No. There's the most deadpan character ever in it, Captain Raymond Holt, and he is a masterpiece of comic writing.
Okay.
But Colonel Mace was not him, and he got that kiss, which was completely undeserved and just so trite and pointless.
Oh, I forgot about the kiss. Yes, you're right. He got the kiss. That also felt very much like the not quite replicant farewell, like another element that they just ham-fist because they feel like they have to. Oh, you need to have the awkward kiss between stiff military people / nerds, you know, the people whom you don't expect to do that. It just felt a little bit too cliched and it wasn't very good. Overall, though, I'm giving this a 3.6, which is exactly what I gave part 1. And I'm doing so because even though there are some things, some parts of it that I've already explained that I disliked, there are other elements that are better in this one than in part 1.
Do tell.
Martha is better in this one than in part 1. Both Martha and Clone Martha, I'm going to give them joint credits.
Freema all round.
Yeah, she had more to do in this one. More in the way of what I want her to be. Sort of, I want her to be a doctor working for units. Fine, she was an imposter doing so. But she wasn't the military badass that I really don't want her to be, and that pulled her down in part 1. Donna, she was good. I liked her. She was fine.
No argument here.
Yeah. Terrible acting in a couple of scenes, but otherwise she was fine. You know, the Doctor was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ratigan was less Ratigan. And I really enjoyed the cringe-worthy scene where he goes, "No, we're all gonna bone you. Why are you leaving the room?" You know? So...
Yeah.
So overall, and the Sontarans were great. I absolutely love the Sontarans.
Okay.
So all of those good things bump up what should otherwise be a lower score because all of a sudden all the stupidity of this double feature comes to a close. Yeah, 3.6.
Okay, in our new rating section, that may just be your longest ever review.
I think it was, yeah. I'm really sorry about that.
Do we have any minis?
We have one mini.
Wow, I was asking rhetorically.
I'm kidding, I don't know. I'm going to have to check.
Oh, man. Oh, you bastard.
We have one mini.
Wow! Yes! You're not still shitting me.
I'm not still shitting you.
Great.
Let me forward it to you.
Email me that sucker. Who's it from?
Well, I'm glad you asked. This one is from Tracy from America. Hello, Tracy. How you doing? Waiting for a response. Very rude, not answering.
We're going to read out your mini review anyway, but you owe us. Actually, no, you don't. You give us reviews every new now. This is really nice.
You are on a roll.
I don't have to ask, are there any reviews? No, of course not. Nobody cares. We're just talking into the void. It's completely changed how I feel about this.
Not read this review yet, by the way. I wonder, do you wonder, Drew? Is it going to end on an actual rating?
I know what it ends on.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You're going to love it.
Okay, good. All right, Tracy goes. Lots of good character moments in this one. For example, Donna's mum is seriously badass. Donna just blubbers "Doctor" over and over again, whilst mum runs in the house, comes back with an axe, and no hesitation breaks the car windshield. I felt like Donna's little moment of surprise, "You've got an axe!" was perhaps inspiration for later when she has to take a mallet to the Sontaran soldier. Yeah.
Really good observations there.
Yeah.
Then there's the Doctor communicating with Donna by way of double meanings as she's listening in on his exchange with the Sontarans. And I really love it when he goes all MacGyver, making shit out of rubber bands, hot glue, and AA batteries.
That's how you build an atmospheric fire majiggy.
For the entire planet.
Yeah. All right, she goes on. We see Martha showing compassion for her dying clone, then using the moment to help save others by getting information out of her.
And Grandad is delightful, stealing the show every time he's on screen.
I'm laughing because I just saw the rating. And she has included a reference tracker. 2106.
Times like this I could do with a brigadier. No offense.
None taken. Sir Alistair's a fine man, if not the best. Unfortunately, he's stranded in Peru.
And 2640.
Are you my mummy?
Yes, which we've already soundbited.
Yeah. Stray thoughts. I like the decor inside the Sontaran ship. Very trendy 3D purple box motif.
Oh, yeah. She gives it a rating of bing bong hey. Spot on. Fantastic. Bing bong hey. Dooby doo. It's like you're inside my brain. That is what it sounds like, by the way. That's a great mini. Thank you very much for sending that in. Ladies and gentlemen of podcast land who are not Tracy, you can follow Tracy, or Tracy, if you want to. You can follow yourself, you know, whatever. You can find her on Twitter. She is at Yekotnyatnoof. That's Fountain Tracy backwards.
Yes, and you can emulate Tracy by sending in a mini to whobackwen@gmail.com.
Okie dokie. That's pretty much it for this time around. Next up, depending on scheduling, it may either be a New Who or a classic retrospective, a bonus review, because at some point we need to go through all of Troughton and pick our favourites. If that's not the case, what is the next New Who review?
The Doctor's Daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
how weird.
I'm surprised as well.
Oh my goodness, it's not like we talked about this half an hour ago. After the bonus, there is a classic lurking. I watched it just the other day. I loved it, by the way. Spearhead from Space, the very first Pertwee. And the next audio, is there anything on the horizon there, Drew?
The cannibalists, of course.
Oh, but of course. What on earth was I thinking? Drew, can people follow you online?
They certainly can, and should.
How do they do that?
They follow Drew Back When on the Twitter box.
Fantastic. You can follow me as well. I am at Ponkin. High five me online and I will high five you right back. Thank you so much for listening. Be rad and excellent to each other, ladies and gentlemen. And ciao.
Hey, podcast land, keep it real.
And we are out.
Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends. Don't have any friends? No problemo. Tell some strangers. Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Who Back When, all in one word. Are you on Google Plus? Then find us on Google Plus. That's plus Who Back When. And when you do, tell us why you're on Google Plus. Who Back When just got its very own Twitter account, no lie, so give us a follow. You guessed it, that's at Who Back When, all in one word. Check us out on SoundCloud, vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwhen.com, where you can leave a comment, submit a review of your own, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode. And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Not only would it make us super chuffed, and it really, really would, but as thanks, we will transmigrate your iTunes nom de plume into the credit list of trailers for fake Doctor Who audiobooks produced by Who Back When. Have a poke around our bonus episodes to make more sense of that. That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other. Catch your earballs in our next classic Who review, new Who review, or, still funny, audio Who review. Ciao.
Who Back When?